All right. We've been hearing rumors about it for a while now, but it's official today. IndyCar and Fox Sports in 2025. Let's talk about it. All right, so IndyCar signed a full season deal with Fox Sports, and it's going to put every single IndyCar race next season on Big Fox network television, which is obviously huge for IndyCar. I believe they're reportedly getting twice as much money from Fox as they did from NBC as well, which is huge. But yeah, just the fact that they have 19 big time broadcast windows next season is gigantic. Let's delve into some of the details. All right, so the big one that everyone is worried about, obviously we all know NASCAR on Fox's coverage has been awful. In fact, this season, somehow, it got even worse, and it has every year recently. So obviously, like a lot of people, I was too concerned at the very start when I started hearing these rumors. But A, getting every race on Big Fox is huge. And B, IMS Productions is going to be doing the bulk of the work anyway. Fox is going to provide graphics and commentators, and I believe they said production in the sense of picking and choosing what camera angles you go to. I believe that's my understanding, but at the very least, the color grading will be right, and the cameras won't be zoomed in all the way on everything. So that's a positive. I read, there's a list of possible candidates for play-by-play. Included on that list are Adam Alexander, Kevin Lee, Jamie Little for some reason, and I think Alan Bestwick is also on that list. I really, honestly, for me, it would either need to be Alan Bestwick or Kevin Lee. Adam Alexander's voice, nothing against the guy. He seems like a good dude, but his voice absolutely grates on my ears. And Jamie Little might be the worst play-by-play announcer I've ever heard. Great pit reporter, terrible play-by-play. So that would be a net negative, and in fact, could in theory ruin all of this, because someone would tune into a random race, possibly hear her and go, what the hell is she talking about? I don't know, whatever. Hopefully that doesn't happen, especially if you have options like Alan Bestwick and Kevin Lee, and then hopefully your third option is Adam Alexander. I know a lot of people tend to like Adam Alexander, so maybe I'm in the minority. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Let's talk about color commentary. My understanding is that Townsend Bell and James Hinchcliffe are both independent contractors and not officially signed with NBC. Like, they're not contracted with NBC. So it would be a huge get if Fox could get either one or both of them. Hinchcliffe, to me, is a must. You need Hinchcliffe. He is fantastic in the booth, and missing out on him would be a shame. Townsend, I love Townsend. I've liked having Townsend in the booth the entire time I've been watching IndyCar. So I would prefer Townsend be in, but I'm sure they could find someone else to do that job if Townsend's unavailable or they don't want him or whatever. But yeah, Hinchcliffe is an absolute must. All right, let's talk about the streaming option, because like a lot of people, I enjoy Peacock. I love being able to watch IndyCar practice anywhere I want. IndyCar qualifying, I watched a ton of Indy 500 qualifying on Peacock, or obviously everyone did, but did it in and out of North Wilkesboro as much as I possibly could this past season. I enjoy it. It looks like that's not going to be an option, or obviously Peacock's not going to be an option, but a service similar to Peacock as far as price goes and everything is not going to be an option next year. It will be available on Fox and Disney's and their combined new streaming platform, which I believe is called Vudu. That's going to be a lot more expensive, obviously. So not a perfect solution for those people. But again, if you have a TV, you can get an antenna and you'll be able to watch every IndyCar race. And if you have basic cable, I think it's basic. I'm not 100% sure. But you'll be able to watch, I believe, every practice and qualify, or at least most practice and qualifying sessions on FS1. Obviously, if there's some sort of clash with NASCAR or Major League Baseball or something, then maybe not. But But on the flip side, every Indy Next race will be on FS1, which I think is huge. I've always been kind of wondering how that series has kept going all these years without having any broadcasts. For years, Indy Lights races were on, what were they, on YouTube? And I would watch them back then. And I watched, believe it or not, I watched for the first time since it's been called Indy Next. I actually watched this weekend. Of course, these right now, currently, they're all on Peacock. But yeah, this is huge. Having that race on FS1 is going to be massive for that series, for those teams, for those drivers, even if they don't make it to IndyCar, obviously not F1, but if they can't make it to IndyCar, at least someone will have seen them race more than likely. So that's good. Huge for sponsorship in that series as well. And actually, backtrack a little bit. It's huge for sponsorship in the IndyCar series being on a major network all the time. It's no coincidence that you see a lot more big sponsors come in for the Indy 500 and only the Indy 500 than stick around for the entire season. You see a lot of B2B stuff typically. And you see that in NASCAR too, but NASCAR doesn't have quite I'm not even sure if they're going to have that many broadcast TV dates next season. Probably less, to be completely honest. So I don't think we'll see anyone jump ship, but we could see sponsors that want to get in on that for sure. All right. So ultimately, as far as the actual, getting eyeballs on IndyCar and everything related to that, I think this is a perfect move for IndyCar. It does seem like they've definitely had to work the schedule around what Fox can do, unfortunately, and the schedule's a little goofy. Obviously, we start in St. Petersburg next year. We always do. It's in the contract. 3 weeks later, we're going to go to Thermal Club, and it appears to be a points race, which is fine by me. I didn't really like it being the non-points event, the way it was done up. I wasn't a really big fan of that. I think you might actually have a chance of making it a decent race with it being a full points race. We'll have to see on that one. But the fact that it's 3 weeks later is not good, especially since, I don't know what they have going on there, but I'm sure they could have moved it up a week. So it's only 2 weeks or something, or tried to squeeze another race in there. Obviously there's different, you can't get everything, I guess. So to get the perfect schedule, I'm sure they couldn't have had every race on Fox. So you're going to have to sacrifice a little bit, I guess. It's just unfortunate that it has to be so spaced out early in the season, because if you could build some serious momentum going into IndyCar, Indy 500 qualifying, and then have a huge Indy 500, which obviously we do normally, but maybe even a bigger one because you got people who are invested in the series already going into the 500, and then you can ride that trail off of it a little bit easier because people have already built up a rapport with the series. They're not going to see that we're running Detroit the week after and be turned off by it because they don't get it. They don't get that it's why it's so completely different than what they've seen just a week ago, because they will have already seen several races like that. Now, obviously that's still possible being on Big Fox, but I feel like you've made it a little less likely. From there, the schedule is basically the same as it is currently. No doubleheader in Milwaukee. The season ends a few weeks sooner. It ends Labor Day weekend now, which we knew it would have to stop before football season. Obviously, because if you're going to have every race on Network Fox, then that's not going to work in football season, which starts the second weekend of September. It's unfortunate, but it's understandable and it had to happen. Obviously, I've been saying this for years, even when they weren't on Fox, them clashing with the NFL and NASCAR and F1 at the same time, it wasn't good. It obviously, it brought it, and it showed in the numbers. I mean, you would see 300,000 viewership for an IndyCar race late in the season was like a good day, which it's not healthy. So ending before football, I think, is a good move. It's just unfortunate that it has to. I wish we could start sooner. Maybe if you added some races in the Southeast, quite possibly. There's a lot of people like racing down here that aren't terribly familiar with IndyCar, it wouldn't be a bad idea. All right, so that's pretty much it for this one. I think overall, huge positive for the series, huge positive for the teams, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Really hope they don't fumble the ball on the on-air talent, and really hope Fox's directors aren't stupid, I guess. Hopefully they get someone in there who knows what they're doing. And this whole relationship is a huge victory. That would be huge for everybody all involved. So anyway, this was an emergency episode, but we will definitely be back. Tune in the week after next for our coverage, of Laguna Seca after that. So comment if you enjoyed, like if you did, dislike if you didn't, and please subscribe if you like. Or don't. I don't really care.